Welcome back to Slasher and the Final Girls. If you're new to our horror house, we do a bi-monthly episode with a killer twist. In our first episode, our CSI and former deputy death director dissect the details of these iconic death scenes, while I haunt the discussion with insights into why these films send shivers down our spines. And in the second chilling installment, which you're watching right now, we dig into what we've consumed in the horror genre, whether it be shows, movies, or podcasts or books. So starting us off strong, what's the best thing you consumed this month, and where did you find them?
Let's see. So I didn't watch a whole lot of horror this month. I just didn't have time to do anything, and everyone knows I don't read, so I only watched stuff. So I watched one of them. I love Hellboy. I love the franchise. It's great. So I wanted to watch Hellboy, the 2019 version. I saw it on Hulu. It's available. Unlike the Guillermo del Toro movies that came before this in 2019, there was a new one that starred Ian McShane, which everyone knows and loves as Mr. Wednesday from American Gods. He's a great actor. I love him. But then also it had David Harbour, that you might recognize from Stranger Things. He plays the sheriff dude. Hooper? I don't remember his name.
Hopper, come on.
Whatever. I was close. I didn't know how many O's. Jeez.
How dare you?
And it was him. He had the prosthetics and everything to play Hellboy, and then the villainess was by Mila Jovovich, which everyone knows and freaking loves all of her work. Especially the Resident Evils, of course. So it's got a good cast, right? But I really didn't like a lot of the movie. I think it did too much extra blood and gore for the Hellboy franchise, which it is a horror comic book. And there is a new Hellboy movie that's out right now, The Crooked Man, but I haven't been able to see that movie yet. It is a prequel to the Hellboy franchise, so I really want to see it. I saw the panel for it at Comic-Con last year, so I really want to see it. It had all the stars and the creator of Hellboy talking about how he loves all of these movies for their own individual reason, but I didn't think that the Hellboy was as good as the original two, which was Guillermo del Toro, Fantastic Creatures. But it was okay, slightly different than the original. I think they should have done more with some of the other characters. But that's just me. You guys can have your own interpretation and preferences for that movie. But that was one. The second movie I saw this month was the television version movie of Children of the Corn. It was also on Hulu, came out in 2009. And I'd never seen any of the Children of the Corn movies, so it was a new thing to me. And I thought it was very interesting the way they parallel religion with Children of the Corn. I thought it was very interesting. Also saw it on Hulu for your streaming capabilities. I thought it was still very interesting. I recognized one of the actors, and I couldn't place it, so I had to look up on IMDb. But it is David Anders. He was in Heroes for a bit. I can't remember his character in the TV show Heroes, but he was in Once Upon a Time, and he played Dr. Whale or Victor Frankenstein. And that's the part that I was remembering, was him in that. And so I haven't seen the other Children of the Corns, but it is a very iconic storyline. So I think this next month I'm probably going to watch the original so I can compare it with how the television version was.
You haven't seen the original?
I haven't seen the original. I haven't seen any of the
Please
Children
go watch.
of the Corn movies.
Please go watch the original. I feel like
okay. I know it's available streaming somewhere. I mean, it's classic. And then I wanted to wrap up this month's horror with something super cheesy. So I chose to watch Chopping Mall, which is the 1986 film. I saw it on Peacock, the free version of Peacock. You don't have to pay the premium subscription in order to watch this movie. And it was just very cheesy 80s horror. I mean, there were cheesy lines. It takes place in a mall, so it's very nostalgic of the mall concepts. And it's got payphones. It has cigarette vending machines. They're smoking indoors. So classic America. And it also didn't have any chopping. That's what I was sad about. The robot security guards that go on amok, they don't chop. I mean, they stab, they shoot lasers, they shoot sleeping darts and then crush throats, but there's no chopping actions. So I think it's just false advertising.
Of all things to
but
be bad.
It was very amusing of a movie. And it does have a nice tagline of "Have a nice day." Every time the robot killed someone, the robot said, "Have a nice day."
I love that robot.
But, yeah.
And our queen, Barbara Crampton, is in that bad boy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was good. It was very entertaining. You didn't really have to pay attention to understand everything that's happening. So it was very good for that aspect. It was a nice wrap up for my horror movies this month.
Nice.
A really good one. You saw some classics.
I know.
Take-home classics.
I'm so proud of you, man. You're working your way through the classics, baby.
Yeah.
But you definitely have to see original Children of the Corn. Anything after that, oh my God. There was one that they made a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awful.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw that one available to stream too.
Yeah. Don't do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Courtney, what about you? What would you watch or consume this month?
So first thing we saw, I've always been in like a search for a good New Year's Eve horror film to watch on New Year's while we wait for the ball to drop. And I knew this was going to be horrible, but we saw Y2K, which is available for renting right now. It's not available for free streaming yet, but it's a runtime of 93 minutes. I rented it on Amazon Prime. We actually bought it on Amazon Prime. But it's a horror comedy based on the fear of Y2K coming in. As any millennial remembers, that was a huge fear. And it stars Jada Martell, who plays Bill in It Chapter 1, Eduardo Franco, who plays Argyle in Stranger Things, and Fred Durst, which he's been showing up in horror films, and I cannot get over it. I love it so much.
I love that man.
He was so good. As a millennial, I found this movie absolutely hilarious. Like, it was full of nostalgia. Horror comedies are pretty tough to nail, but this one was fun and nostalgic, and if you walk in with super low expectations, it's a fun ride. So definitely recommend you go watch it.
I wanted to see that one, but like you said, like I couldn't find it on streaming other than renting, so I'll give it a little while. But do you guys, obviously not to age us, but we were all here
We were
in 1999. Do you guys like remember this? I can't really remember much of like the world going crazy.
Really?
Oh my God.
Oh,
yeah.
no, I remember.
You remember?
Yeah, like my grandma was so excited to be alive during the change of the new year. She was super excited, banging the pots and pans at the New Year's party at my house. Just hilarious.
That's
Meanwhile,
awesome.
my brother, some of my friends were just like, it's the new year. I don't think anything's gonna happen.
We all had our, like, I would say bets, but like we had our ideas of what was going to happen. I know my parents bought extra gallons of water just in case. Like,
Yep.
in case the machine froze up.
Gotta be prepared, baby.
Oh, yeah.
It's true.
Next film I watched, I'm so sad to report on. So I wanted to see Malum forever. And it came out March 2023, but it's always been on Apple TV Plus. And I don't have that, and I refuse to buy it. And finally, January 1st, it got distributed to Shudder, which I have. It's also on Stars and AMC Plus. And it's a direct remake of The Last Shift in 2014. I saw it. I thought it was great. It was a great indie horror film. So good. And it follows a rookie police officer taking her last shift at a decommissioned police station. And in the remake, she's hoping to uncover the truth behind her father's death and kind of how it's linked to a dangerous cult. And the director and writer, Anthony DiBlasi, wrote and directed both The Last Shift and Malum, but I found the remake super disappointing. It made some story changes that I felt were super unnecessary and left some scenes that I felt were a bit rushed or missing, and those were like my favorite scenes in The Last Shift. So I was really disappointed and really glad I didn't rent it.
I'm not sure how Malum and The Last Shift like kind of flew under my radar. You think like you know everything that's coming out or whatever,
Yeah.
but when you had texted me like, "Oh my God, Malum's on Shudder," I'm like, "Bro, what's Malum?" So, but like I know you've really been wanting to see that one. You had mentioned it a few times. Was it like super hyped? Were you just like really stoked for a remake of The Last Shift? Both? Like, where did you get kind of pumped for that?
Great question. So, like, one of my good friends has the best horror recommendations, and when I mentioned I'd seen Last Shift, he was like, "Good, Malum's coming out, the remake," and it's basically DiBlasi finally got the budget he wanted to do the movie he wanted. So I was like, "Oh my God, I have to see this guy's dream, his baby, like what he exactly wanted now that he has the budget." And then I was like,
"Oh, that's a
take
letdown, man.
Money away. It was so good." I think if you watch it without seeing The Last Shift, it's a good one. But because I saw The Last Shift and I wanted certain scenes in there, they weren't. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then in the first one, their main character they follow, and this is not spoiling anything, is not connected at all. She's just a regular rookie cop. And in Malum, her father used to work at that police station.
Okay.
And so it added like a connection, which I understand and get. But I think I liked the spontaneity of what happened in The Last Shift.
I have to go watch that one.
Go watch it. Go watch Malum first and then watch The Last Shift.
Okay. All right. Do a little switcheroo.
High note.
And just like that way you can like build up and not go down.
Nice. I'm here for it.
That's the plan.
Next I saw Sting, and this was a cute little creature feature. So it's a brand new movie. Well, not brand new, but 2024. It's on Hulu. Runtime in 92 minutes. And you're going to follow Starlet, who is a rebellious 12-year-old girl who discovers a rapidly growing spider. And all of a sudden her neighbors start disappearing. And it's just a fun 80s vibey creature feature. And it's got some decent jump scares, but by no means is it truly terrifying. It's just like a fun little movie to watch. Nice. And of course, I love that. It's a spider film, and the main girl's name is Starlet.
Hey, you had me at spiders, baby. You had me at spiders.
Naming the star Charlotte was totally not on purpose. Like, it just came out of nowhere. It just felt right.
Yeah, it was interesting, though, because at one point, she's naming the spider, and she scans her bookshelf, and she lands on The Hobbit. And I was like, oh, Shelob. No, she named it Sting. Like, okay. You went with the obvious choice of Starlet, but didn't name
I know.
spider after the spider in the hell. But alas. Now to what I read. I read some good books this month. Okay. I'm actually going to end with my favorite book. So we're going to start with Stolen Tongues, which is the 2017 book by Felix Blackwell. It's going to follow Faye and Felix, who escape to a cabin to celebrate their engagement. Felix realizes, though, that Faye's sleep talking is actually her communicating with the monsters that have been stalking them. It was okay. It was not bad, but it was not great. And I'm on Book Talk for the next few days before TikTok goes away, and everyone swore up and down it was the scariest book they've ever read. It was so horrible, and I just didn't find it that scary.
Even though it wasn't scary, like, were there any, like, kind of redeeming qualities of the book?
Absolutely. So if you like Skinwalker type stories, those are the monsters that haunt Faye. I thought that was really cool, and there were a lot of great scenes where the author describes like the sounds that the Skinwalkers are making, and he's like running through the house to kind of figure them out, and then Faye starts sleepwalking at one point. So it was really, it had some good parts. I just think I wanted more because Book Talk hyped it up a little too much.
Yeah. Had you read that that author before?
No, that's my first time. So I'm probably going to maybe read him again. He came from Reddit. Like, he posted a bunch of, like, creepypasta stories that enough people encouraged him to write a full-fledged novel.
Oh, cool.
He's got 4 books out. The newest one is the prequel to Stolen Tongues, and so I may check that one out to see if it addresses some of the plot holes I found.
We're into second chances here.
We always try things twice. And then my favorite thing that ever happened to me this month was Fantasticland from 2016 by Mike Bockoven, and it explores the aftermath of a devastating hurricane that hits Florida, and the story centers around interview style of basically an amusement park and its employees, and they employ their volunteer staff to protect the assets during and after the storm. And with leadership lacking, boredom setting in, the teen employees start forming factions and fight for survival.
How could it possibly go wrong?
Some Lost Boys action going on.
It is basically Lord of the Flies, and I realized when I was tracking my books that I always start January with a Lord of the Flies inspired tale. So last year I read this group by my daughter, and I was like, and I think it's my love of Hunger Games is like really showing.
Ooh, there you go.
This was recommended by Shelby Novak. If you follow this podcast, you know I am such a fangirl. She's the host of Scary and Sleep, and she said it was one of her favorite horror novels, and it's so good. It is such a good one. It did not earn a perfect 5 stars for me. There were some storylines that they constantly built up and up and up, and they kept hinting at, and when they finally addressed it, I was like, that's it. That's all you're going to give me. And I wanted a little bit more. And I will say, if you do want to check out the book, get the audiobook. It's on Libby. Don't spend money. And the audiobook makes it wonderful because it's in like an ensemble cast. And so it becomes like this
that's cool.
crazy cool complex story. It's
nice.
touch.
Yeah. I've
I've
never heard an audiobook like that. That's dope.
A few audiobooks are doing that.
Yeah.
I've had like a few that do it, and it makes it a lot better because you don't have someone deepening their voice or throwing it to a high pitch to be like the opposite gender of what they actually are. Yeah,
cool.
That was me. It was a good month. Nikki, what did you consume?
All right. So, you know, your girl is always in the theater now.
It's true.
So I saw a couple in the theater. Finally saw Nosferatu. Oh, Nosferatu. Oh,
I want to see it.
I got to rep the shirt. I got to rep the shirt. Count Orlok. So this is a rep for Count Orlok's Nightmare Gallery Monster Museum in Salem, Massachusetts.
Oh, nice.
That place rules. Recommended by Spencer Charnas of Ice Nine Kills, of course. And
throw that in.
Gotta throw that in.
Throw it in.
Everyone drink.
Everybody drink. But oh man. One of the most, if not the most, literally most stunning, like visually stunning movies I've ever seen. Like beautiful. Beautiful. And most of Robert Eggers' films are. But this was just, oh my God, it was so beautiful. The acting was phenomenal. I wasn't really expecting any less when I saw, you know, the lineup there. Nicholas Hoult roles. I feel bad for him. He's like always in these sad guy, poor sad guy roles. I'm like, I mean, he did kick some ass in Renfield, but before he started kicking the ass, like just the sad, you know, role. William Dafoe, iconic, obviously. Obviously,
so
what is there even to say? It's, would I watch it again? Probably not for like a few years. It's one of those ones where to me, it's slow, it's quiet, it's like hypersexual. These are vampire movies, you know. These are the Dracula movies, the hypersexual. Oh, I'm drawn to this man, blah blah blah. Count Orlok, like disgusting, like grotesque. The sexual scene, like horrifying. Like not
like if you need to go to the bathroom during the movie, that's when you go.
That's when you go. That's when you go. Like, don't get me wrong, the movie ruled. It was really good, but just I would really have to be in the mood like to watch it again. It's just like anytime soon. I'll definitely watch it again in the future, but like if you know, I could watch Scream every night of my life. But like as far as this, but I mean, it was cinematically, please go see it. Oh my God, beautiful. So pretty.
Okay.
So would you say this is your favorite Robert Eggers film, or is it another one that you prefer?
No, this one. I haven't seen a ton. I hated The Witch. I'm sorry to my elevated horror people out here. Please forgive me. Have mercy on me. It's just his movies, like he's known for period pieces. And those really like aren't my thing, like the dialogue. And in The Witch, to me, unless I was losing it or there was something wrong with my TV, like everything was like really low and like, and I'm like, what are they? I'm like, bro, I got to turn this up to like 100 to even hear what they're saying. And then
start using the subtitles in the theater.
I just recently started doing subtitles. I'm like, oh, have I reached that age now where I'm like reading subtitles? But
We do subtitles.
yeah. Oh, it's a game changer. The Northman was okay. Like I think what was that, like Viking stuff? I saw that. I feel like I saw that forever ago. I haven't seen The Lighthouse. That's on my watch list because of William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. But so far out of what I have seen from him, Nosferatu #1 for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Next, I saw Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare.
What?
So I'm fully on board. Like I am fully on board for this whole Pooniverse, these people coming up with these characters. We all saw Blood and Honey together. I liked Blood and Honey 2 better. I loved Blood and Honey 2. I'm all on board for them. I know what they are. Blood and Honey 1, I feel like took itself a little bit too seriously. And then I feel like they kind of reversed themselves a little bit and, recorrected. And we're like, okay, fans want this kind of thing without compromising themselves too much, whatever. And like they had Tigger on there, like being like, bitch, like Freddy, like welcome to prime time, bitch. Like that kind of thing. And I'm like, I love this. But anyways, going on with Peter Pan, I guess I had expected Peter Pan to be more like that, just a goofy tone, campy, and my goodness, it wasn't. It was not. So I saw it in the theater. It had a really limited release. It was only like 3 days of this week, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's going to be streaming later in February, I think. I'm just not sure where yet, but be on the lookout for it. Yeah, definitely check it on streaming. I wouldn't pay for it to be in the theater, but you can't because it's out of the theater now anyway. But yeah, it's dark, depraved. It's not the campy fun that I wanted, but can't always get what I want, So if you take that away, your expectation, if you take that away, you review it for what it was decent. It was entertaining. The acting was great. There were decent kills. I will say. There's some social commentary in there, which is fine. It's not like I'm like, oh no, you cannot have any social commentary in a movie. I just want to turn my brain off and have fun. No, that's fine. There's some social commentary movies that are great. But it just wasn't what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting there to be social commentary and this dark, dark tone. I'm like, I want Peter Pan fighting Hook with his lost boys. Like, but no, it was Peter Pan without any spoilers. It was Peter Pan kidnapping kids to go to Neverland. And Hook is in it, but I just...
Pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty accurate to J.M. Barrie? I mean...
It's accurate, but just you have to see it because I don't want to say any spoilers, obviously. But I just wanted to see some more like character development, so... They do a little bit of character development with Tinkerbell, but... You just have to see it to know what I'm talking about because they like flip Tinkerbell on like its head, like it's completely with the pixie dust is completely something different. What? And so they did some character development with her, but with Hook, nothing. And I'm like, Hook, baby, we love our villains. We love our villains. So they really didn't do much with Hook, which was kind of disappointing. But all of these movies, Blood and Honey, Peter Pan, Bambi, I can't remember the other one right now.
Oh, Pinocchio.
Pinocchio, thank you.
Or Steamboat Willie coming out too.
They are all supposed to be kind of building
the universe
to this Pooniverse Monsters Assemble movie.
I'm super excited.
Like an Avengers of these characters.
It's so great.
So I'm going to see them all. I'll see them in the theater if I can. If not, I'll see them on streaming. I'm still going to see them and try not to have expectations. You know me. I'm a gore hound. I'm a slasher.
Mhm.
I want my campiness, and it just wasn't that. But anyway, other than that, so I got this. I can't take credit for this. I wish I could. My favorite podcast, they're called The Horror Show. Please check them out. I love those dudes. They come up with themes every month, and for January they came up with JAPANuary. So watching
Cool.
Japanese horror and then the counterpart, the American remake, and talking about both, and I'm like, this is fucking brilliant, because I literally, and I'm ashamed, I'm an uncultured swine, bro. I haven't really seen any foreign horror. Yeah, and I've heard of these things. Everybody's like, you got to see Audition, you got to see Ringu, and it just, I just haven't gotten to it. But I was like, okay, this is my chance, JAPANuary. So I watched The Ring and its American remake. I watched The Grudge and its American remake. I watched One Missed Call and its American remake. All of those are on Tubi. Thank you, Tubi. I love you. Thank you, Tubi.
Mhm.
A lifesaver in our lives. And I watched Audition, which was also on Tubi. And Joe Bob also does it on Shudder. Every now and again, I like to mix it up and watch Joe Bob's commentary on it too, while watching the movie. What's that?
I'm so sorry. You always learn so much from him.
Oh, I know. Oh, seriously, dude. I love watching that dude. So basically, there was this period of time, like late 90s, 2000s, Japanese horror was coming out with these bangers, like absolute bangers. And American filmmakers would remake them, almost instantly.
Yoink.
Yep, almost instantly. There's literally so much to say about all of them. I could go on for days. I'm not going to. I'll say that there's positives in both versions, the Japanese and the American. I would never say oh, hey, the American ones were a cheap ripoff of the Japanese ones, because I love The Ring. The Grudge, no. But I love The Ring. It's so iconic. How many things in pop culture have you seen Samara coming through the TV and all these things?
Mhm.
A lot of people cosplay her at cons. It's really cool. But I'd have to say that my favorite out of everything I watched was One Missed Call. Austin, I think you would like it because it was giving Final Destination vibes, one of your faves.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I love that kind of premise where it's you're gonna die. This whole thing is coming for you. You got to try and stop it. So that was unexpectedly my favorite one. Audition, a league of its own. Insane.
I've heard it's absolutely insane.
It's insane. It's literally insane. I was like, what? I won't do any spoilers or anything like that, but you have to go watch it. It's so good. It's so good.
It's on my list, but I have to mentally be prepared.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Definitely for the end scenes, you have got to be prepared, man. It's wild.
Got it. So I feel like Japanese horror can always somehow stand the test of time. Do you agree, or do you think other countries do horror better?
So I hadn't seen a ton before this. I've seen a little bit of Korean horror. I was stationed in Korea for a year when I was in the army, so I tried to soak up as much of their culture as I could while I was there. I would say out of what I've seen so far, J-horror. They call it J-horror. This is what I just found out too.
Okay.
So I'm on it, man. Their jump scares, their storytelling, their makeup that they do. If you see Ju-on the Grudge, how they make them look like ghostly figures, it is phenomenal. I love it. Korean horror, I'd say, is a slightly more disturbing. I mean, Japanese horror has its things, especially Audition.
Mhm.
But Korean horror, from what I've seen, a little bit more disturbing. And while I clearly respect these types of movies and I would watch them again, it's not necessarily my type of horror. Obviously, if you've heard me talk about anything, you know that I'm the campy person. I'm not the
80s, yeah.
oh my God, that's disturbing. And I'm going to be thinking about this for days now. There is an animal scene in Audition. It haunts me. Yeah. I should have thrown that out there. My bad. I should have thrown that out there.
Warning for viewers.
Yes. Trigger warning.
I have to check out that.
Yeah, it's right at the end. But I would love, and again, I'm ashamed to check out some Italian horror, man. I have not seen any Italian horror besides, I think, Demons is the only thing I've seen. I feel like trash.
That's the mess up one on Shudder, right? Came out like last summer.
No, this one is from the 80s where they're in a movie theater and everybody starts turning into zombies or they're possessed or something. Yeah.
I really like Spanish horror. Spanish horror has always been fun. But there's some really good Swedish horror, like the original There Speak No Evil is messed up.
I have not seen the original. I just watched the remake a little while ago. Okay.
The remake was okay, but the original, like, they were like dark for a little bit. Like, not okay.
What did I just watch?
She was not okay, bro. She was not okay.
It was not.
That's cool. So yes, let's expand our horizons. Spanish horror, Italian, Swedish. Let's go, people.
Yeah.
What else are we looking forward to? Like, we're gonna do some horror or foreign horror.
Yeah, a little bit of foreign horror.
Yeah, why not?
I will be in the theater again the end of this month, the beginning of next month, because I got to see my Wolfman by Leigh Whannell. Leigh Whannell who did Saw, one of my favorites. Hard Eyes.
Wolfman's my favorite.
Wolfman's your favorite of like
my favorite monster.
Your favorite monster, yeah.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I have to say Dracula, of course. I have to say Dracula, but
I love vampires overall, but Wolfman's my first horror film.
See, the nostalgia. Okay. It's always got a place in your heart.
Like,
so I'll be checking out that. Hard Eyes comes out in February, right around Valentine's Day. That has your boy, Devin Sawa. So I'm super excited to see that. It's like a slasher, slasher who kills on Valentine's Day. Where could you go wrong? I love holiday horror.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I think we all do. We love holiday horror.
It's
so
fun.
Anytime they come out with something new, it's nice. And I'll also be seeing The Monkey, which is an adaptation from a book, one of Stephen King's short stories called The Monkey. If you've ever seen that classic, like Monkey with the cymbals, he claps together the cymbals, like that's the imagery. And so that's what I'll also be reading to get ready for. I love to do that shit. I love to read the short story or the book and then go see the movie or the other way around, whatever. So I'll be doing that. And
I
also
love Elijah Wood in horror, and I'm so excited to see him.
It's true.
He's going to be in The Monkey?
He's in The Monkey. He's so good because he was like a Maniac.
Yes.
Like, oh my God.
He's been in a couple. Yes. Oh, man. Yeah, he is really good in horror.
He was in a Dame to Kill For, based on the comic book.
Dang. Our comic book guy. Our comic book connoisseur over here.
Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, as far as reading, I didn't really do much this month. I started to get into Revival, but I don't have enough under my belt to really talk about it. But I've had that one recommended to me so many times. I'm like, okay, it's finally time. It's finally time. Yeah. And I also in February, I love to read The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker. So I'll be reading that one again. It's super short. It's super short. I can't think of how many pages right now, but I want to say it's like under 200, under 300. So like if you're looking for something, I kind of wanted to throw out a couple of recommendations out there because like when people that like podcasts that I watch, like the Hello Sydney podcast, when I know she's doing like Clown Month and she's going to do It and Clown and all these things, I'm like, oh, I've got to go watch them so I can hear her talk about it, you know? So
I cannot wait for the new It Chapter 1 next week.
Oh, I know. I'm so stoked. I love that woman. And streaming, I have to mention two quick things. There's a new Goosebumps.
Ooh, that's right.
With David Schwimmer.
Saw the ad.
You're millennials. You got to check it out.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I'm super stoked for that. That's going to be on Hulu, Disney Plus. And I think it's like 8 episodes, kind of like the last one was, but this time David Schwimmer is in it. And I just love that man. How could you not love that dude? You know?
Every time I see him, I think of Ross.
Yeah.
So I had a really hard time looking past Ross the first episode, so we're going to try it again.
Yeah. We were on a break.
Like, pivot.
Yeah. We were on a break. Iconic, bro. Iconic. And there's another one for my wrestling fans out there. I'm a huge wrestling nerd. And there's going to be one on Shudder called Dark Match, and it's starring Chris Jericho, our boy who was in Terrifier 2 and 3. And apparently it's about this wrestling show that kind of goes wrong because there's like a cult involved, and then they start making like them fight to the death. And I'm like, you had me, baby. Let's go. Say less. I'm here.
There will be a chair involved. There will be a table involved.
Yes. Yeah. That comes out the very end of January, like January 31st. So I'll be able to tell you about that one next month, but that'll be on Shudder if anyone wants to check it out.
Okay.
I really want to check out Creep tapes on Shudder. I like Creep.
I have never seen Creep, but I kept hearing people in their like 2024 reviews talking about Creep tapes. And so I watched the first one. It's insane. And they're short. They're like 20 minutes. So you could literally binge all of them like super quick. But that actor, crazy dude. Like disturbing. So good. So yeah, I definitely want to check out Creep too. I just got to find out where it's streaming.
I think Shudder may have Creep, but it's always like on Netflix. Somehow.
Oh, okay, cool.
Highly recommend Creep. Creep 2 was good, but Creep just knocked my socks off.
Love it.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, let us know if we missed anything. This is kind of what we saw in January. We're going to probably start picking themes like what Nikki did. So make sure you vote on our favorite like horror crushes, because that is going to determine our next fall episode. And also might help out what we've watched. We may do something for each of the girls that we kind of nominated.
There we go. Yes. Please go to our Instagram, our Facebook, Slasher. It's like spelled out Slasher and the Final Girls, and vote. We've got 3 up there. We've got Samara Weaving, who was Bee in The Babysitter. We've got Lauren Lavera, who was Sienna Shaw in Terrifier. And we've got Sarah Connor. Oh my God, I'm stupid.
Linda Hamilton.
We have Linda Hamilton, who was Sarah Connor. I'm the worst. I'm the literal worst.
There you go.
In Terminator. And basically, we're going to tally the votes, and whoever wins, we're going to do that movie for February. And if you can guess, a little bonus, if you can guess whose crush was whose, then you get some bonus points. We're going to be doing a Halloween, creepy Valentine's Day giveaway, so you'll get some extra votes towards that.
Yeah.
And I've already seen it, and it looks amazing, and I'm disappointed we cannot participate.
I know. I'm like, I just want to keep it for myself.
I want it. I'm kind of upset when you show me a picture.
I know. I'll start doing some teases of it soon, but yeah,
go
vote. Go give it some votes.
Yeah. More than
all of our socials will be linked in the show notes and also tagged at our kind of final title slide. That is it for January. We will see you again in February. Be right back.
See ya.
Peace.